Hi, I'm Dr. Quincee Gideon. I'm a clinical psychologist and I help people get out of religious trauma and cults. Today we're going to talk about the Duggars. They had a show on TLC called 19 Kids and Counting, and the whole wide world watched all of their odd beliefs. Turns out they are a part of a cult, and it's called the Institute of Basic Life Principles. This group was started in the 1960s by Bill Gothard. He was an evangelical preacher back in the day, and then we all discovered that he was actually a sexual predator. He started the Institute of Basic Life Principles, which is shortened to IBLP, for those that are in the cultiverse. And he started this group, and many believe that he started it as a way of grooming children and women into his sexual abuse practices. Yikes, right? This group has a lot of really concerning beliefs. I'm going to run through some of those. Most of these are cult-like features, so these are some red flags to stay on top of here. Number one, men have the ultimate authority over all living beings. Children, women, animals, businesses are the final authority on all things. So this plays out in money, life decisions, sex, bodies, the ways in which women and children dress. The men in these families get to make all of those decisions. Number two, there are a lot of rules around sex, one of which is no birth control, and sex has to be given at any time that the man demands it. Feature number three, there historically has been no accountability for dangerous leadership. So because men are the ultimate authority, Bill Gothard got to move through this world sexually abusing women and children. And in doing so, he was not ever held accountable. There were all kinds of rules that were built into the system that meant that he got to decide what he did. And because God had given men authority, that was not questionable by other people. Number four, they do not believe in any sort of mental health intervention or professional counseling. And this can get actually pretty tricky, right? Because there are some serious mental health consequences to some of this restriction that we see within this group, but there's no access to any sort of support outside of biblical counseling that happens inside of the church. So if the church has all of these beliefs, right, and men have the final authority, and there is no accountability that's going on, then the people that are actually hurting or causing pain to the vulnerable folks in those groups, the women, the children, if they have the ultimate authority, then they certainly are not going to allow someone else to come in and give them any sort of feedback that what they are doing is wrong, hurtful, painful, ungodly. My goodness. It's also a cult feature that any sort of sexual abuse allegations are not handled by authorities or by any sort of professionals. The church is the only place that they can handle these things. Okay, another feature that happens in this particular cult is a lot of fear mongering. So there is this deep belief that if you don't follow all of the rules, God will punish you and punish you very harshly. So they believe things like if you do not give men sex when they ask for it as their ultimate authority, then you may not be fertile, that God won't bless you with children or he won't bless you financially. There's all kind of twisted beliefs embedded in this cult that mean that most of your life is lived in fear of what would happen if you don't follow all of the rules. And that's a really big cult red flag. Another cult feature is that homeschooling is almost always required across the board for all members. Homeschooling is a way in which your children will not be exposed to other ways of thinking, other access to other resources. There won't be teachers, there won't be coaches that have their eyes on what is going on in these families that are highly cult-like. So this is one of the ways in which the cult is able to continue without much accountability, because these kids are not coming in contact with other people that might have some questions or raise some eyebrows. And if they are, they have a lack of information. So that drugstore clerk is going to have a lack of consistent information that someone like a teacher, a coach, a principal a mentor might have otherwise. And a trigger warning here. This cult specifically believes that if there is some experience of rape or sexual assault, that it acts as a vaccination against premarital sex for the person that has been raped. Big cult red flag here. Big time. They imagine and they purport and teach that if you are sick, that God is punishing you. And so if there's any sort of illness that has gone on, this is some indication that God is mad at you and that you need to turn your life around in some way. It's worth noting that the famous family that brought this cult to the forefront, the Duggars, recently Josh Duggar, the oldest adult child of the Duggars, of the 19 kids and counting, has undergone a lot of press scrutiny, and he just finished his trial for all kinds of sexual misconduct, child pornography. The FBI has reported that the type of child pornography that he had on his computer was worse than anything that they had ever seen, and this is their literal job. He is awaiting sentencing right now, so we don't know exactly how that is going to play out. However, the family has been largely silent about their disdain for his behavior and his activities, mostly because he is the authority of his family and God is the only authority over him, and they believe God will just handle it and that no one else needs to be involved. Red freaking flag. Okay, so that was the Duggars. That was the Institute of Basic Life Principles. A very culty vibe over there. Lots of things that we have to look out for. I hope you enjoyed.